Kan det stanna in the middle of those two?
Science, axiom. In philosophy, blicks. In language, schemata. Many things. So in order for us to go forward, for example, you don't know how the mechanisms of a car works, but does it stop you from driving? No, you still drive that car.
No, but you still have to be able to get licensed to understand a little bit how the mechanism works.
Content over everything!
But faith, the question was, yeah, that some things that faith, that we learn this as well. We learn this.
Do you learn how to eat? That's something natural to you. But
this is one aspect. Some things you
Can
don't
we get
need
back to the
But for
religion
example,
at
the
hand,
belief of books. I believe in books because I was passed this information. I believe that the mechanism of a plane works because people who are deeply rooted in physics have made this plane.
No, but you don't believe it, you know it. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to
Yeah,
you know
this
how
is-
that's built, you see the blueprint of how the plane is.
Anthony Rogers
and then you go forward with that and you say, you know what, okay, this is how it works.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But in the same time, like, I don't have a problem with that. Like, it's like when it comes to like dogma, when it comes to books that conveys, that tells people that you have to be able to follow it to a T. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with education altogether anyway. But at the end of the day,
This
I
is
feel
what
like
universities do.
yes, but at the same time, education starts with yourself. At the end of the day, you have to be able to self-develop yourself, to be able to understand the world around you.
What do you mean by education starts within yourself? As in, you don't believe that people teach you things. Where are you from originally? Which country are you originally from?
Originally, I'm from DR Congo.
So West Africa, yeah?
No, Central Africa.
Central Africa. Okay, so
DR Congo.
now there's a saying that when an old man dies, the library dies with him. When an old man dies, the library dies with him. Why? Because it shows the sanctity of collection of
can I
knowledge
ask a
and
question,
passing
though,
it down. Because we on ourselves don't know everything. In fact, it's the whole study of language. For example, it's a long story, I don't want to get into it. If you and I don't know the word for, let's say, something we've never seen, but he, for example, has, how will you know how to use the correct word for that item except that man teaches and everyone uniformly uses that word?
I do know that's
so
the tree as
some
well.
things are faith that we inherently have, I agree. But some things is faith that is also taught to you and you believe in it.
Yes, you get taught things. I'm sure you got parents, right? So your parents are your first teachers.
Yeah.
They're the
They
ones
teach
that
you language.
They teach you everything else you're supposed to know from a certain age. But in the same time, what I'm trying to get at is at the end of the day is about what religion
Are you
does.
agnostic?
I'm not agnostic. I don't believe. Personally, for me, I follow more of self-development program in the sense of where you focus on yourself. You try to take more responsibility for your life. I do believe in a God, if I can use that word, but it wouldn't really.
So
mean
then where, for example, the universe runs on physical laws, nature runs on natural.
How do you know that? That's just information that you've kept in your mind, memories.
And
you've read it.
you can see this, that the universe runs on physical
No,
laws.
we don't see it.
What goes up
is assumption.
must come down.
True.
Do you believe that? You
Yeah.
just say this assumption, but you just agree that it's true.
That's it. I'm saying it's true in the sense that what goes up must come down. That's
So
the
it's
laws
true.
of
Is it assumption or is it true?
It's a phenomenon that happens. Tomorrow it might change. You might throw something up and it will never go down.
Yeah, but then
For
the
example,
laws of nature.
you know, a helium balloon doesn't go down.
Yeah, but that's because the atoms in helium is lighter and they tend to go up.
Yes.
That always follows that law.
Yes, but at the
This
same
is a
time,
physical
but the thing is
law.
that the way we look at life, personally for me right now, is based on the fact that yesterday isn't going to change. Today, based on the fact that yesterday will be exactly the same as today.
Yeah.
And
So you
today-
believe in pattern?
No, yeah, patterns, but you think that those patterns can change anytime. Once they change, then we'll have to basically
So you believe
remove
the
everything
laws
else that
of
we've
nature
known
can be
and
overturned
find new
by
things.
tomorrow, even though historically it's never happened?
What do you mean historically?
Like
For example,
the laws
like-
of nature is always run in one way.
Not necessarily.
Or can you give me an example?
Okay,
where
for
it's been
example, like
broken?
gravity.
Yes.
You know, like gravity. For
Yes,
example.
yes.
Newton believes that gravity is a force that pulls you down.
Okay.
Okay, so that means that when you walk, you're actually pushing the earth behind you. But Einstein comes and tells you that no, gravity isn't there. It's a force that just that's.
Has the law changed or has the perception of the scientists changed?
The perception of the
Yes,
science.
yes. But we're talking about the laws. The laws are static, except in a situation where.
That's based on how we see it at that time.
This is what science is, isn't it? It's placing things into patterns.
Yes.
You see that which is empirical, and then you draw from that pattern.
Yes, but you also know that those patterns could be wrong as well. Because it's all
yeah,
based
of course,
on
yeah, that I agree with.
hypothesis
That I
and all
agree
that
with.
stuff.
I agree with that. Yeah, that I agree. So, my question would be, going back to the former discussion,
Yes.
what makes you think that the laws you abide by, and you said something about personal development, which I agree and I think is amazing, but the laws that you abide, what makes you think, Omar, is correct over what the laws that another person may abide by?
Okay, because first of all, the laws that apply when it comes to self-development, that's something that happens every day. It's natural. Everybody else, you can always be better than what you were yesterday. You can always improve yourself a little bit better at the end of the day. That's nothing nobody has to come and teach you. You got coming from. But when it comes to religion, is that they're trying to tell you something that you don't know about, something that's fictional, and you have to try to see if you can reach that.
You made the assumption it's fictional.
Which you're right, 100%. I didn't make the assumption it's fictional because at the end of the day, I don't see that at the end of the day because we live every day. We don't.
So
see,
you don't see? What is it you don't see?
For example, like I don't know, we don't see people walking on water every day. We don't see guys going to the moon on the horses. We don't see guys. I don't know. We don't see sea parting
You know what
open.
Einstein did say? He said the most incomprehensible thing is that the universe is comprehensible. Now, do you know what he means by this? He means that the very fact that everything around us works in laws is indicative that there is a lawmaker, as opposed to the universe being random. Why are there laws?
What are the laws? Okay.
No. Why are there laws as opposed to randomness? In order to have laws, you need to have a lawgiver.
Okay.
Laws don't pop out
Can I
nowhere.
ask a question? Quick question. Do you think there's certain things that we know? Do you think there's certain things that we don't know? Do you know there's certain things that we know that we know yet? So, for example, like right now, you make an assumption based on these various figures that we have in the past that we learned from at the end of the day. And these various figures at the end of the day, they have their assumption and they also have their biases, they also have their school of thought as well and their indoctrination as well. So in a sense that you take that as creed and say, okay, he said that, or that prophet said that, or this person said that. It's wrong because at the end of the day, they live in their own world, they have their own experiences.
Well, where's your question coming from? Because as Muslims, we believe that the messengers are sent from God. Allah, He says, the Prophet Muhammad,
which is great, that's nothing wrong with that. But the
Yeah.
problem is like at the end of the day, but when you start to, I don't know, perpetuate that and say that this is actually the truth and the facts, there's nothing else apart,
but why
apart
would
from
we
that.
not hold to something other than the truth? If we believe
Because
in this.
there's many truths. You have your truth, he has
So,
his
but
truth,
then
you
again,
have
some
your-
truths, there are not many of. I agree, some things there are many truths. This is personal. But some things, there are only one way. 2 plus 2 equals to 6? No, it can only ever equal to 4. If you say equals 6, then the whole world is in confusion. And this goes back to the original question, do we correct other people when they are wrong in their faith? At times, yes, of course we do. In order for the salvation of a soul. The Prophet Muhammad, the statement in Islam where we say, لَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا. Allah says, we have sent to every single community a messenger, and that they should worship only God, and that they should stay away from false
Do you think
prophets.
that we learn from doing the right things all the time, or do you think we learn from making mistakes? Because going back to what you just said
There's
there,
many-
when somebody's doing something wrong, you go and tell them off and do it. Because at the end of the day, you're right, you're supposed to give people guidance. But sometimes you're supposed to learn from your mistake. You're supposed to do something, get it wrong, and then after that, you know how to do it better. For example, like the Prophet, I'm sure there was people before that worship God. He came through at his time, he saw what people were doing, and said, you know what, I don't like what people are doing here. So change it. Doesn't mean that they were wrong in what they were doing. They were still believing in what they believed.
Generally, that I agree. You know, sometimes in conversation, people use absolutes to kind of pin someone on the other side down. You haven't meant to done that, but sometimes you ask me about questions which are absolute. The question we originally started about
Faith and religion.
faith and religion. How do you then determine your life when you have no universal laws, for example? As in, you believe, for example, you believe. I believe in God. You believe in God. Yeah? Do you believe
in
that
the Creator. I don't believe in
the
God.
Creator? Sorry. Do you believe that Creator created you for no purpose in your life, in your heart of hearts?
No. I think that everybody else has a purpose, and anybody else can find meaning within their life.
I'm asking about your relationship in terms of the creator. Do you reckon the creator wanted something of you? Because we in Islam believe that.
But you have to remember, for my train of thought, because obviously I follow a certain school of thought as well. The way I see it is that the creator lives in every living thing, which you would not agree with.
Sorry, what school of thought is that?
More an African tradition.
Kemet.
No. It's ancient. I'm from Congo, so I don't know. They just call it, we believe in our ancestors, that's what they call it. It's more just not African spirituality. But the thing is that it's translated in various ways.
No, I don't want to be polemical. As in polemical means to understand. I've read a little bit about this, about whether you want to call it ancestor worship, homage, or just different terminologies. But we believe that the ancestors in Islam, and I'm sure maybe we can get to some conclusion in this discussion, is that the ancestors are not your creators. They are your birth givers, maybe so. But we do not believe...
But the creator himself is also our ancestor, because he created everything. So if he created everything, he's also my ancestor. He created me, right? So what would he not be my ancestor?
Then it seems like a stretch of the definition of creator.
I know, but this is how...
Because where did he come from, your ancestor?
No, the creator, like the way you would look at the creator, he hasn't been created by anything, right? He just is. Like life, he just is.
So the more apt word probably would be the originator, yeah? Not your ancestor.
No, it's still an ancestor. For example, like, I don't know, this planet is an ancestor to us, and we are made by this planet. We are made of every particle from this planet. So it's wrong to think that we're not connected to the same planet either.
But what is your relationship with the Muslim? Their relationship is with Allah, which is described in the Quran and in the Hadiths.
Yes.
What is your relationship with your creator?
My relationship with my creator is based on behavior and actions. It's based on the behavior that I do and the actions that I take. At the end of the day, I feel the most selfish thing you can do is help somebody else. Because at the end of the day, you get joyful. The most selfish thing you can do is help somebody else. Because you get a good feeling from it.
Not all the times. Not all the time.
Selfless or selfish?
No. People think it's selfish to help. No, to only help yourself. But anything like selfish, that's just to help somebody else.
What if they're doing something which is not for the joy of themselves? For example,
let's say I'm going wrong and you help me.
Let's say someone is drowning.
Yes.
Yeah. This is called agape. Yeah. Altruism. The person is drowning. I save the person at the risk of my own life.
Yes.
How is that doing something for my benefit?
Because you get gratitude from saving that person. You get a better
what
feeling.
If I almost die?
It doesn't matter.
That's not a good
you know, like similar like when you give a gift to somebody. You give somebody a gift because it's not really because you want to give him that gift, because of how it makes you feel. Because you know it makes you feel better when you give that person that gift. The smile he has, how happy he is.
Not all the time. But I know I genuinely agree with you.
Exactly. But at the same time, I don't know.
But going back off it anyway, so we talked about ancestors.
Yes.
But my question was about creator.
Yes.
As in you believe in a creator, what's the connection between creator and creation or the ancestors?
Let me give you an explanation. Okay. First of all, the way I see the whole concept of the creator or Almighty, the way I see it as okay, as energy just being spread out to do various things. And the only thing that we know on Earth is that there's vibration and there's energy.
Sounds a lot like Kemet.
It is. Well, Kemet actually derives from...
you have to remember, like, all religions derive from various... all religions have certain truths there, personally. Like,
so they derive from
Christian,
what? You said they derive from?
What, Kemet?
No, what you were just about to say, they all derive from?
Religions all derive from one another? Or?
No, all religions derive from truth. At the end of the day, they just take part of it. It's like, I think it's like the
why can't we take the whole of it if it derives from
we all get the same thing. It's like water. Okay, you can make a hole here, you can make a hole there, you can make a hole there. As long as we're gonna get to the water, we're gonna be fine,
I want to get to
right?
the crux of the conversation.
Exactly. Okay.
Is that do you worship this creator?
I'm the creator, so why on earth how can I worship myself?
That's pantheism, as in you believe you created yourself.
No, I didn't believe I created myself.
So why would you worship
There's levels
other...
to it, for example. For example, I don't know, the planet created us, but we're not the planet, are we? Through science, we understand that we are made of all the particles.
But what created the universe?
What you would call the creator.
Do you believe in that creator?
There's a hidden force that creates
Do you believe
everything.
in that creator?
I believe in the hidden force that created everything.
Do you worship this hidden force?
I respect this hidden force.
You worship yourself. Now, if you worship yourself,
yeah.
I think that this thing that created you is more deserving of worship than you yourself.
But that's based on your assumption again. Because I said...
But do you believe that you yourself is more worthy of worship?
No, but we are the same thing. For example, like I'm using a body right now, but who I am really is just another hidden force. Like you would say is a spirit or a soul, a cushion to tell you that when you die, your soul goes somewhere. So this is just a vehicle. What I am, you don't see it. You will never see it. You just see
Where
what.
did you get this information from? Where'd you get this from?
What do you mean? I've been taught it since I was younger. I don't know.
Yeah, but this goes against the very principle you started this conversation about.
Yes.
Yeah, about people teaching you things.
No, I was taught certain things about my mom and dad. But
And why,
over
why
time,
don't you
I
challenge
learned
these
myself.
kind of things as in?
My dad is Christian. My
Yeah,
dad is a Catholic.
yeah.
My mom is a Catholic.
Yeah.
They don't believe in what I believe. They just
Was
teach
there a
me to be
reason they
good
don't
person.
believe in that?
Not really. I don't have to get them to believe what I believe.
yeah.
At
But
the
what
end of
makes
the day,
you
no.
believe in it?
Because it makes me a better person.
So if something makes you a better person, you must believe in that.
Not necessarily. You don't have to believe. It's not about believing something. It's about seeing the effect, the results of something. It's like farming. If you're gonna go and use soil that's not fertile, you're not gonna get anything out of it. But if you're gonna use soil that's actually fertile, you're gonna get something out of it at the end of the day.
So you're saying the ends justify the means.
Sometimes, not all the time.
Okay, but in this case, the question was that you worshipped yourself,
No, in this question,
but you don't worship the creator who you believe in.
Actually, I am the creator, so at the same time, you can't say that I have to go and worship something else.
Break that down. How are you?
Okay, for example, like.
Sorry, I know now. I don't want it to seem polemical.
Oh no,
So
that's
forgive
fine.
me if
No,
I'm
that's
coming
fine.
with
No, that's fine. For example, like when you look at the concept of you have a body, you have your mind, and you have a spirit, right? The way I understand it, the spirit is actually what you call the creator already. You have your own mind that you came here, you have an experience which you learn things from. You collect all these experiences.
No.
But you also have this body as well. But at the same time, like you get out of this body eventually. Same like you can get in a car.
No,
you
but
take
it's
you
a
certain
God
places.
that creates the spirit, and the God puts the spirit into the body.
No, but the spirit, that spirit he puts it is his own. It's like, how can I take something? How can I give you my arm if it wasn't mine in the first place?
But
I
okay,
have to give you something that's already
let's
mine.
go along with that, Omar. Why then do you not worship the source of your
No, because he
godliness?
lives in me. It's already in me. Like,
But there's a part of you.
and this is the thing.
He lives in okay. Let's say
He lives in
the
me.
same thing that lives in you is the same thing that lives in you.
same
So
that
why,
lives in the
like
planet,
as
same that
in,
lives
God
in everything.
forbid, doesn't it make logic sense according to you to then worship another man?
No, because it already lives
If you
in me.
worship yourself
Yeah.
and the same thing is in another man, would you then worship the other thing? I'm not saying you should.
Yeah.
Let me make it clear. My
it
thing
comes to
is
that-
that you should worship the source. And this is the
But
logic.
if
in
the
Islam.
soul already lives in you and it lives in every living
Who
thing,
put it in you?
Yeah.
Who put that thing in you?
who put that thing in you? Like you already asked the same question. He said that.
I don't know.
Have you looked
No,
into
but-
Islam?
but-
Have you looked into Islam? I don't mean it.
I have.
I don't mean it.
No. But this is what I
But
was
what
asking.
stops you from accepting Islam?
This is what I was going to ask you, because if you look at Moses, if you look at Muhammad, peace be upon him, if you look at Jesus as well, peace be upon him, all these guys were trying to tell people that, you know what, that kingdom of heaven or that God you're looking for is already there. You don't have to go and look for it elsewhere. Religion tries to tell you that, you know what, God
I'll
lives
give you
in
a
the
verse,
no, let me
yeah?
say, God lives in the building, God lives in the sky, God lives there. No, he doesn't live anywhere there. He's always there at the end of the day. That's why when it comes to faith, that's what I say, the difference between faith and religion is that religion tells you that you have to come and buy something from them. Faith tells you that you already have it. You don't have to sell you anything. Like for example, like in my business, I teach meditation, yoga, fitness. The only thing I can sell you is yourself. There's nothing you're gonna come into my center and I'm like, okay, there you go, you're buying this. No, you'll be buying yourself because I can make you better. I can't give you any other service apart from that.
I agree with that stuff, but in terms of our discussions about worship, this is what I'm
Worship.
interested about.
Yeah, of course, because when you say
so
worship, that's a religious
one
thing.
second.
You know that, right?
One second. The point is that all of these things in front of you are evidence of God. That's what I believe.
It is a
You
manifestation
say that
of
it's
that,
inside
yeah.
you, and I agree to that extent. It's inside you. Allah, He says, "سنريهم آياتنا في الآفاق وفي أنفسهم حتى يتبين لهم أنه الحق." That we should show them our signs. Allah is saying, in the furthest of the horizons and in the depths of their own selves, until the truth becomes manifest for them. These are the signs which Allah has sent down for mankind so that they could worship the one true God. Not ourselves, not the creation.
But you know that Sufis disagree with you. Like same way like Sufis don't believe in that whole concept of.
The concept of Tawheed Sufis believe
No,
in.
but in the same time, this is the problem because at the end of the day, within all religion, you're gonna have this portion of religion that will be like, no, we don't
Forget
want.
the Sufis. Let's
No,
talk
no, but
about
that's what I'm
why.
saying, because like even Christianity,
But
there's certain
I'm talking
agnostic
about
Christians
you
that believe that
right
same.
now, yeah?
Talking
The
right
Prophet
now.
Muhammad sallallahu he says that the Quran will be a hujjah laka, it will be an evidence for you or alayk. or against you. If you read the Quran and you believe in the Prophet Muhammad and you seem like a self-reflective person, I would say take your time, brother. I want you to become Muslim, just like everyone. You know, I would want that.
No, but
You
by
seem like a
definition, we
discerning
already are,
person.
aren't we? By definition, we already are, because if everybody has to submit to the word of God.
The thing is, initially, is that you should. Allah says, قَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ, that the worship, Allah decrees that your worship should exclusively be only for Him. And maybe we're using different terminology. When you say you worship yourself, perhaps we mean that a different word.
You see, I can do the same. You know, when you ask me, okay, by me worshiping myself, does that mean I can worship my brother here? That's wrong, because, for example, like you just said that you can only worship God Himself. If there's only one God, I can't worship any other God, can you? It's impossible for me
You
to.
can do false gods.
No. It doesn't matter. If there's only one God, I can only worship that God anyway. It's wrong for him to even say that, well, worship me and only me. Unless if there's other gods there, then you're going to be telling me, okay, forget those other three gods, only focus on myself.
Unless they're false
There were
gods.
other gods there historically, they had to be destroyed.
But when it comes to the concept of the creator, like you said, there's only one creator, right? If there's only one creator, there's no point of telling people worship only one creator, because he already exists, so there's
What
no point
if
of that.
people, they strayed and started worshipping trees, spirits, themselves, Wintons?
And that's a good way of getting into our next conversation.
Then this is where Allah, He says, He brings the people back, because shirk or polytheism or the worshipping of other things started in the time of Nuh. People believe that these were righteous men and that these men should have statues erected of themselves. Eventually their ancestors forgot the purpose of these buildings. These men were righteous. But then the people of later generations started venerating these statues, and this is where shirk or polytheism came in. Allah, He kept on sending messengers unto people, and He said to them, come back to Allah. Irji' ala rabbik. Come back to your Lord and worship only Him. Why? Because for you is Jannah. It is places and hereafter where there is bliss for you. Allah is reminding you continuously. Like I said, whether it's in the furthest horizons or in the depth of yourself, Allah has given you innateness so you yourself can realize what is logical. So you know in your heart of hearts 2 plus 2 is not 6. You know it's 4. And you can correct the next brother and say, my brother, for the love of God,
Exactly.
that only one
And this
God
is why, for example, when you look at religion, they focus more on temples, they focus more on doctrines, and they focus more on what do you call it?
Organization.
On organization anymore. But when it comes to spirituality, it only just focuses more on the individual. The individual matters. And this is what I try to push more on people, like, you as an individual, you matter. The collective doesn't matter. Yes, you're part. No. You're already part of the collective. Because for me, I didn't come into this world if it wasn't for those 2 people that gave birth to me. Coming from. So I'm already part of a collective, even though I'm an individual myself. But in the same time, when it comes to these various things, for example, like, I don't know, I had this other conversation last time, people were talking about how people put statues, they talk about, for example, you shouldn't worship in certain paganistic things. But that already exists in religion everywhere. Christianity has that, Islam has that, Judaism
When
has
Islam has it?
that. You have the Kaaba, you have
I've heard
the
this
moon,
argument.
you have the...
Engage with me with the moon
by the way,
and the
this is-
Kaaba.
It's not the Kaaba. The one thing you could mention is shrines. There's not Sunnis, there are certain Muslims who do go to shrines, which is paganism.
You know the thing is that I got a girlfriend, like I said, she's Muslim. That's a sensitive issue
Why
for
don't
her.
you get married to her? Become Muslim and get married to her.
No, the thing is just,
Well, can we talk about the Kaaba just
Yes,
quickly?
please.
Yeah.
But before you do about that, I want to ask you one question as well, based on this whole concept of religion as well. Because it hits the same core as well, because like this whole masculinity and feminism within religion. Because at the end of the day, for me, the way I see it, I see as if that Islam is a female religion compared to Christianity, compared to Judaism. And you probably ask me, okay, why
Let's
do
jump
you
onto
think?
that after the Kaaba issue.
After the Kaaba. But the Kaaba issue, what with that is like, okay, because one, you know that everybody looks to the Kaaba to pray. There's various, you have the moon in the Kaaba, you have the sun
Let's
in
do
the
it
Kaaba.
one at a time, the Kaaba.
Yeah.
Now the Kaaba, at times there was no bricks.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was just a stone. And
So what were people then worshipping if there were no bricks? if the Kaaba is the thing that we worship, when at times the Kaaba was deconstructed and people were still praying towards
by the way, I never said they worship it. I think it's a system that religion has. You have to conform to it.
Yes.
Like us here, you have to, I don't know, fill in your tax forms. You have to do certain things. There's certain things you have to conform to at the end of the day. You don't have to necessarily do it, but you have to conform to them. But in the same time, when it comes to the Kaaba, it's like everybody has to pray towards the direction.
Unity.
It's almost like a ritualistic kind of thing
100%.
at the end of the day. So rituals are things to do with paganistic belief. Because even like you say, mentioned Kemet, the Kemet tradition had rituals. African people have rituals.
What's your definition of ritual?
A ritual is something that you have to do in a collective.
In a collective.
And
So you can't have your own personal
and it has to be repeated as well. I have a ritual. I brush my teeth every morning.
Exactly. There you go.
Eat. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. Allah, He says in
the problem is that when other people start saying, you know what, our rituals are okay, but their rituals are wrong. That's the only problem.
Yeah. But this is the thing. When we say 2 + 2 = 6, it's false. If we say that the origin of these rituals come from a one true God, then we say, okay, no problem. But if we say that these rituals, we don't know their origins. We're talking about the Kaaba. At one time, the Kaaba never existed. Yes?
Yeah, so it was built in 1920
But
or
we in Islam, no.
No,
We say that Abraham,
Destroyed many times.
we say,
check it. It was
No,
rebuilt in
it was
1920.
rebuilt.
It was rebuilt in 1920.
maybe. But the thing is, the origin of the Kaaba is that Abraham with his son Ismail, he built the Kaaba upon its foundations. The Prophet Muhammad in the Quran, if you read it, it says that he would look towards the skies, and Allah says, we will turn your gaze towards a direction. Qibla means direction that you will be pleased with. Naturally, our nateness is to think that Allah is above the 7 heavens. So we will pray. We will pray towards the skies, but Allah, He says to the Prophet Muhammad, turn towards a direction that will please you. And the uniformity causes the people to pray towards, not to. The Jews have this, the Christians have this as well. It's a direction. Qibla means direction. We're not praying to the Kaaba. The Kaaba is only composed of bricks. Those bricks at times didn't exist. Allah said regards to the direction, He changed it from the Makkah to Jerusalem. Does that mean now that we worship at that time Jerusalem? No one will ever put forward this kind of argument.
No, I wouldn't say they worship.
So the Kaaba wasn't, it was towards, not to. Distinction. Muslims pray towards, and I think is one of the verse, Psalms 4:4, where it mentions that the people used to have a direction of prayer as well. The second thing in regards to the crescent, came at the time of symbolism when the Crusaders were fighting the Muslims in the Ottoman Empire.
That's not true.
When did the crescent come?
Personally, for me, the way I understand it, like the concept of a crescent.
Are you going to bring up the moon god?
No. To be honest, like when it comes to like, I think it's a question of female god. It's not moon god.
Alright, this is pre-Islamic.
Personally, I'll tell you why.
What are you talking about? Alat.
No, nothing to do with that really. Because you have to remember, when you come to that part of the world, they've always worshipped female goddesses. They didn't worship anything else. And that's why I say even right now, Islam is a female religion.
I was interested in what you had to say.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be interested in getting
because at the end of the day, like if you look around that side of the world, if you look at the various ancient gods that they believed before, it's always been female gods. And it's all to do with.
do you know what?
No, I'm alright, thank you.
You don't have chocolate?
No, it's all to do with water. It's all to do with being caring and nurturing. And if you look at, for example, the attributes that Islam portrays, for example, you have what do you call it? The whole the moon is there to be able to correlate when you have to fast. The moon is there to be able to tell you when you have to pray, and also as well.
When Allah says, "Do not prostrate to the sun nor the moon, rather prostrate to the one who created it," in the Quran.
Yes, but I'm saying like the concept of what you think that created that is a female entity. I'm not saying it's like
gender exists outside the universe.
There's essence that exists outside the universe.
There's gender. There's female and male are genders.
But you know things like male and female are what do you call it? They're attributes attached to masculinity.
Sexuality.
Exactly.
We don't say
for
that.
Example, like, of course. For example, like when it comes to like masculinity and a man and a woman, when you look at the
this conversation could go on for hours. I wanted to get to the base.
That's true. But at the same time, when it comes to like our masculinity and our social organs, is outwards. So when you look at masculinity, you look at things that are physical. You are coming from. So when you look at when we look at females, they basically their own parts are a bit more hidden as well. They're a bit more internal. They're hidden. you're coming from. So when the concept of a God that you can't see is already a female attribute, because all to do with things that are hidden.
Do you think that's persuasive? I don't mean to be.
No, I don't mean.
For me,
it doesn't have to be persuasive to you. But at the end of the day, it's like it's an aspect that's there. So even when it comes to women as well, they also go by the moon as well, and they also.
Because Allah says the former Muslim.
It's a different calendar.
Of course, and if you look at the
Chinese
Allah,
follow
let me go around. It was great speaking to you. But
the last thing I was going to ask you, because I brought this whole female god, the reason why I brought that is because the whole concept of Isis.
as in the Queen Isis.
No, yeah, the Egyptian Queen
Oh,
Isis.
yeah, I thought
no,
you
the
meant,
terrorist.
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, everybody just want to say Isis, they think automatically that particular religion.
Okay, I should go.
The concept of Ra, for example,
Okay.
and the concept of El is something that seems to be highly focused in the three main religions. You have Islam, you have Christianity, and you have Judaism. And there's a particular word that's called Israel, and it actually embodies all that. So in Israel, you have Is, you have Ra, and you have El. Is is the female god, Ra is the male god, and El is the first one. And within all these three main religions, you have the Judaism being the first one, which believe in Elohim, Ra, which is believe in Christianity, the second ones that come after, and Isis is the last one.
the Egyptian god.
Yeah, the Egyptian. Yeah.
They're all Egyptian gods at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's what the new three religions have done.
From Kemet.
They've changed those various things and put it into
So
a
how
new
do you
one.
say, because we're talking about Islam, I can't speak for Christianity,
Of course.
I can't speak for Judaism, allow them to speak for themselves. How Islam has a relationship with these idols?
With these idols.
Yeah, the ones you mentioned, I said idols, but I should have said Isis,
Yeah.
Ra, Osiris, Horus.
No, Islam only correlates with Isis because that's a female deity. Because everything about Islam is all to do with femininity. Like you guys have to say
we
mothers
don't.
first. Mothers come before, 3 times before fathers. You fast based on the moon. You don't fast based on the sun.
That moon
How does
argument is down to choice between calendars. So the Chinese have Chinese calendars, a lunar calendar.
Yes.
The Western calendar is a Gregorian calendar. So lunar it's calendar based on going around the sun. So it's just a matter of choice at that time. Do we go with the helio or do we go with the lunar calendar? That's true.
Gentlemen, let me go inshallah. God guide all of us, one and all.
Of course.
But keep your reading up, and if you need any questions, we're here. But keep sincere. It was nice meeting you.
Thank you, sir.
Take it.
Nice to speak to you. Where's Jesus?
My dear friends, is that many in our country are living in a fantasy world. Even if I showed you evidence, show me through your behavior that you care to listen. What did I say? What did I say? What I say is when I speak.
Brother, but in a different way. He's my father.
Challenge.
If you go to Africa, maybe some Africans people that you hate the most are other Africans. So how they are not.
Content over everything. Content over everything. From your belly.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV. Listen.
I mean, it's almost like a rhetorical question for me. As you're familiar, I was in a legal case myself recently. And I was talking about that this morning, actually. One of the walking tour group I take around, Karl Marx, the walking tour, I was talking about that this morning. We're standing in front of a big building, £40 million in price. What actually allows